What's up, guys? I got the LED conversion done on the Pioneer 500 now. They've been working great on the Foreman 500, so definitely wanted to get that kind of light quality and quantity on the Pioneer. I like these LEDs. They actually project forward pretty far, so they actually work like a headlight instead of like a light bar that just kind of, is like a flood. So basically, it's just two 8-inch LED bars that are adapted into the factory headlight hole using an aluminum bracket. Pretty simple install. I got a few tips and tricks throughout the video for you. If you're interested in these or any other products from VesselPowersports.com, there's a promo code on the screen right here for 10% off your entire order. Eventually, I'll do a night ride and show you how they work on the trail, but a lot of my friends are running these lights and they work great, so not expecting to have any issues. All right, so I got the LED conversion done on the Pioneer 500 from Vessel Power Sports. Very straightforward installation, maybe not quite as simple as the Foreman, and I'll show you why. So the brackets up here, that's the light bracket. It comes in all the way over here. You have to kind of come from the inside to get to those two fasteners. Not a big deal, but it is something to be aware of. That's a little different. And then the other thing that's a little different is the frame right here is very close to the bottom light. So it's kind of hard to get to that adjuster. So when you get to this adjuster, you kind of have to like pull the light forward a little bit, tighten down the adjuster, and then put it back. So that's the only two things. This frame bar kind of gets in the way, and that one part of the bracket goes farther in. But otherwise, really straightforward installation. Of course, I'll give you a full walkthrough here in a second. The only thing I did extra is I added a zip tie right here from the bracket to the frame just to kind of stiffen it up. All right, guys, the Pioneer 500 is getting some love today. These headlights stopped working shortly after I bought it because they're full of water. So we're putting these Vessel Power Sports LED conversions on here. Pretty much like what I did on the Foreman right there. And yeah. So I think it's exactly the same light bar, same 8-inch light bar between the Pioneer 500 and the Foreman 500. The install process is pretty similar. I think the Pioneer is probably not quite as easy to get the factory headlights out. There's more fasteners on it, and you got to come from the inside here as well as from underneath. So maybe slightly trickier, but looks like they're going to install about the same way. So the Honda ones have a ton of fasteners, but it looks like these actually go in with only 3 fasteners, looking at the number of mounts. Also, they also came with new fasteners. So on the Foreman 500, you reuse your stuff, but you can see I have 6 fasteners here. So looks like they gave us maybe some beefier screws that bite a little harder for the self-tappers. Okay, so first thing you need to do is remove the hood. And inside here, there's 2 things. This plastic clip actually holds the headlight in. That took me a while to figure out. So there's that one, and then there's a Phillips screw down here that holds the headlight in. So you got 2 that you get to from under the hood. On my machine, I had this little storage container I had to pull out. So that's your first 2. And then if you come look down here, there's another Phillips screw right here at the bottom. There's a 10mm bolt up top, and there's a 10mm bolt over here. Now, once you get all that out, it won't really just fall out. It's still kind of stuck in there. So what I did was I pulled out these 2 guys right here so I could pull this forward some, and that helped me like jiggle it out of there. Because even with all the fasteners removed, it's still kind of stuck in that spot. You can get to the connector by popping off the cover. Mine were already gone, but that's the connector right there, so that's easy enough to unplug. All right, so as soon as you get these 2 out and pull this forward, there's plenty of room. You'll see the headlight kind of falls out. That's what it was holding on. And once you get it to this point, you can come in here with your diagonal cutters, grab this and pop it out. That will let you get your wire harness out of the way. And then you got another one over there. Long mount right here is gonna go somewhere in there and utilize that factory mount. This bottom one is gonna come right here, and this top one up here is gonna go up there. So looking at it, these are gonna be your Phillips screws, this mount down here, and this mount in here, and then you're gonna have one bolt in to the metal up there, which is nice because it's going in to this bar. So that's a nice strong mount. So that's how Vessel gets away with not having like the 6 factory fasteners and clips and stuff. All right, so I got the light bolted in here with the 3 supplied fasteners, 1, 2, and then the third one's back there. You can see the Phillips head. Oh yeah, so as far as order of operations, the way that I did it, I put this fastener in first, Then I put this fastener back here, that Phillips way in there. Did that second from in here. And then the third thing I did was this bottom one. I got them all snug down, started adjusting. Once I got it adjusted, I tightened these down real good. And then I add the zip tie, and now it's solid. So that's just kind of how I did it in the order I did it in. Something else I just realized playing with it, it's kind of funny. This connector, the way it's keyed, you can plug it in wrong. And if you plug it in wrong, you won't have any lights because obviously LEDs are diodes. So you plug it in that way, you don't have any lights. So if you don't have any lights when you first get it, just pop the connector out, flip it 180 degrees. I love doing things with one hand. And then boom, you got light. So yeah, if you don't have light at first, try flipping the connector. You don't have high and low beam on the Pioneer 500, you only have 2 wires, so that's why you can flip it. And then for wiring, I routed my wires in front of the vessel bracket right there between the front bumper and the bracket, and then it comes up here, and I have one zip tie to the light bracket there, and then it comes around that way. So it looks pretty clean. Wires are tucked up out of the way. All right, they're all installed. Very straightforward installation. The only tip I have for you is make sure you spend your time getting them aligned right. I see a lot of people who have these in here and they're flat up against the front, which means that your headlights are aiming out here somewhere. So the vessel gives you a lot of adjustability. Make sure you use it and you get everything aligned properly. So pretty happy how this all looks. I got the wires routed a little different on this side. I went on top of the bracket, and then I have a zip tie in the same spot. And I did the same thing. I put a zip tie down here on the bottom of the bracket just to kind of, hold it against the frame there. But yeah, they fit in there pretty good. They don't hang out at all, so you don't have to worry about stuff grabbing or tire clearance or anything like that. All right, so there's a light pattern. I got the bottom 2 adjusted down and out a little bit, and the top 2 a little closer to the center and a little higher up, but not so high up that I'm blinding people, right? So if I stand right here, the phone's not being blinded because I have them aimed down like a civilized human being. So make sure you take your time and you align these properly and you're not blinding people on the trail because these suckers are extremely bright. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Looks good. I think it's the same light output as the ones that are on the Foreman. I think it's actually the same light bar. There's just a different bracket adapting them, obviously. Can't wait to do a night ride though. That's gonna be really, really nice. As usual, take it for a ride and recheck the torque on all your hardware. Again, there's just 1, 2 Phillips screws, a 10mm bolt, and then you got your 10mm adjusters. But yeah, I think it'll be good to go. I always recommend checking the torque on anything like that after you go ride around it. It gets to shake, let it get settled in. You're screwing into plastic, right? So stuff's gonna settle a little bit. But yeah, really straightforward install.